Hello, and welcome to today's webinar on our 2022 calendar, Collaboration Across Systems, Partners for Paralysis and Spinal Cord Injury, offered by the National Association of State Head Injury Administrators. Thank you for joining us. I'm Maria Crowley with NASHIA. I'll be your moderator today, and Amanda Neeser is our webinar organizer. Closed captioning is available by enabling that at the bottom of your viewing window. If you need any additional assistance with today's webinar, please send a chat to Amanda through Zoom or go to Zoom's support site. Questions for the presenters can be added to your Q&A in your viewing window, and we'll address those questions at the end of the presentation, time allowing. A little bit about NASHIA for you. We're a nonprofit organization created to assist state government in promoting partnerships and building systems to meet the needs of individuals with brain injury and their families. NASHIA is a member organization, and we offer several different kinds of memberships. Please view our website for all those options. There are many benefits to being a member, including connection to our directory. If you have any questions about that, please email us at info@nashia.org. We provide many products. Here are just a couple. What If There's a TBI is a training project through Dr. John Corrigan that answers a lot of introductory questions about brain injury and what to do. This product is geared towards states that are wanting to partner with community providers who may be working with someone with TBI in a number of settings. Another product that we have is with Dr. Kim Gorgans at the University of Denver, who's developed a series to teach master's level providers how to screen for brain injury and how to incorporate a neuropsychological screen into practice. This is an on-demand series for anyone who is interested. We are in August going to be continuing our Leading Practices Academy program, this time with a focus on behavioral health and brain injury. It's a 12-month program for states who wish to begin or expand their partnerships and do some outreach with best practices for behavioral health and brain injury. Individuals that participate receive extensive strategic and technical assistance supports throughout the program. Other offerings include technical assistance and consultative services, and that's on a range of topics to include funding, events, and public policy. So if you have any interest, again, just contact us. Now, on to today's webinar. CE credits for social work and certified rehabilitation counseling, as well as general certificates of attendance, are available for today's event. Members receive certificates of attendance for free as a benefit of membership. Contact Haley Cushion at hcushion@nashia.org for any questions related to that and receive your certificate promo code. The link for credits and certificates will be emailed to you an hour after the webinar concludes today, and then will be available on NASHIA's website. A recording will also be available on our site later for access. For viewers of the archived recording, please go to Trainings on Demand to find information on how to obtain a certificate. I'd now like to introduce you to today's session and to both of our presenters. You're going to learn today about some national entities that support individuals with paralysis and spinal cord injury and who conduct research in both those areas. You're also going to learn how to access resources and initiate partnerships between your program, the National Paralysis Resource Center, and the Spinal Cord Injury Model Systems on how to collaborate on that research and practice. First with us today is Bernadette Morrow. Bernadette works for the Christopher Dana Reeve Foundation and has been a part of that organization since its inception for the National Paralysis Resource Center in 2002. She manages the Reeve Foundation's information specialists, addressing the needs of individuals who live with paralysis and their family members and caregivers, and provides individualized support through navigation of information and services. Bernadette pulls from her many years of experience and expertise to devise personalized plans and approaches to get individuals back into community. Bernadette spearheads content development as well for the PRC's patient education materials and the website, along with managing military and veterans program and the advisory council. Bernadette has collaborated with numerous nonprofits and patient education groups in order to meet the needs of patients. Dr. Yuying Chen is a professor and director of research in the Department of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation at the University of Alabama at Birmingham. She also presently serves as director of the National Spinal Cord Injury Statistical Center that directs and manages the Spinal Cord Injury Model Systems database. Dr. Chen's research focuses on the epidemiology, mortality, and secondary conditions after SCI, urologic complications, pressure ulcers, obesity, racial health disparities, and social determinants of health. She's published a number of manuscripts in peer-reviewed journals and is a member of the editorial board of Topics and the SCI Rehabilitation, the NIH Common Data Elements Oversight Committee for the Spinal Cord Injury CDE project. She's a part of the International SCI Dataset Committee, the Prevention Committee for the International Spinal Cord Society, and the Award Committee of the American Spinal Injury Association. So much information and experience is coming to you today, and I'd like to say welcome to both of our presenters. And Bernadette, I am going to turn things over to you.
Thank you, Maria. It's a pleasure to be here today. Maria, I'm going to have you start the slides and I will tell you when to go on to the next. So again, I'm with the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation, and through the foundation, we have the National Paralysis Resource Center, and we are funded as a National Resource Center specifically to paralysis, but we cover many types, as you'll hear during this presentation. Next, please. So the topics exploring the resources. My hope is that you'll leave today realizing that the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation covers much, much more than just spinal cord injury, and that we're a wealth of information and resources. We are funded through the Administration for Community Living, which is part of the Department of Health and Human Services, and they make our access to give presentations available. So it's tax dollars at work in a positive manner. Next, please. So our mission, we're dedicated to curing spinal cord injury by advancing innovative research and improving the quality of life for individuals and their families impacted by paralysis. Our focus is today's care for tomorrow's cure. Next. So this is a quote from Dana Reeve, and then I'll give a little bit more explanation about today's care. We created the National Paralysis Resource Center to help people navigate the chaos of paralysis with reliable information, referral services, and a message of hope. Dana found that when Christopher was first injured, she didn't know where to go. And she often said it was like arriving on another planet. And when there became grants through the Health and Human Services, she applied in the hopes of giving a voice at the other end of a telephone to help people navigate their new lives. Next. So we have many features, today's care, tomorrow's cure, it's circle. And I'm going to start with the information specialists on the left-hand side. They are really the crux and the heart of the National Paralysis Resource Center. They take all incoming calls. At this point, we've helped over 114,000 families one-on-one, and we've assisted in 170 different languages. Going downward, we offer quality of life grants, and we have given $33 million in grants to over 3,300 nonprofits in all 50 states. We do have an online virtual community, which you can access through christopherreeve.org. we have social media channels through the usual Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And every year we are currently giving a summit, and the summit is where Care, Cure, and Community Connect. It's our annual summit where we provide the full spectrum of topics on cure, care, designated for the community, as well as professionals and their family members. Reeve Foundation has, following in Christopher's vision, has been a leader in spinal cord injury research, with $140 million having been awarded to researchers around the globe. We also have a peer and family support program, which has served 17,000 people. At this point, we have 500 certified peer mentors. In addition to that, we have partners around the country, partner organizations, hospitals. And then last, we have our paralysis resource guide, which is central to everything the information specialists give out. It covers all types of paralysis. It starts with the disability, it goes into the secondary conditions, and then after that, the book is really for anybody with a disability, and it talks about living your life and living it well and becoming engaged in the community. Next. So Christopher had said, once that you choose hope, anything's possible. So through the partnership with the Administration for Community Living, we provide much needed free educational information, programs, emotional support, and individualized assistance to Americans living with paralysis, along with caregivers, families, and medical professionals. We do also provide assistance to international individuals who contact us with resources, supports, and translated materials where necessary. Next, please. So if somebody were to call, if you have a client, and I just start with an acquired brain injury, or TBI, falls under the realm for us of paralysis. Some people have paralysis, some people don't, but affects your daily life functions. And there is crossover in terms of secondary conditions like spasticity, mobility impairment, a variety of things. So we've included acquired brain injury into the National Paralysis Resource Center. If you have somebody or you want to call us, there's three main steps. Your first step is that you can go online and you can complete a form, and then an information specialist will read your inquiry and answer you by email, or you can set up a phone appointment at a time that's convenient for you, or you can just pick up the phone and call. And then again, we work to find the most appropriate information specific to the individual with paralysis or with a disability. The information specialists, they research what they think is the most important, or what you've identified as what you're looking for. We find resources in the location that the individual lives in. We find their language preference, and then we build a customized answer of resources, and it is sent either via email, or in the case that you would like pamphlets and booklets on some of the health issues, we will mail those to you. And again, all services are without charge. Next, please. So these are just some of the conditions that are covered through the National Paralysis Resource Center. And we put this in as a way of visually showing people that it's not just spinal cord injury. Spinal cord injury is part of what we do, but that we do ALS, acquired brain injury, cerebral palsy, MS, Guillain-Barré, stroke, spinal tumors, and transverse myelitis, just to name a few. There are much more in the book than just these, but we just wanted to give you a brief overview to see, where it would be appropriate to turn to us. That's what I was sharing with Maria at the beginning, is that we've had people come to us with breast cancer, had no ties to paralysis, but they needed help and they needed some resources. Our information specialist team doesn't turn anybody away. We will help them, we will direct them, and we will get them to the best resources for what they need. So if you're not sure if we can assist you, please contact us anyway, and we're happy to try to do so. Next. So on the journey of paralysis or living with a disability, acquired head injury falls into that. We get frequently asked questions, what should I be looking for in a rehabilitation program? I'm a veteran. Am I eligible for VA services? How can I learn more about home modifications now that I'll be returning home? My family and caregiver is burnt out. We both need help. And then this is an all too frequent one. My wheelchair is falling apart and my insurance will not cover a new one. Are there any programs around to help me get it back in working order? It's just sampling, and these cover many cross disabilities. Next. So again, the starting point is with the information specialist, and they provide individualized support to individuals living with paralysis, their families, their caregivers, their physicians, their neighbor, anybody that is supporting this individual, we will help them. You can go online, and the place to fill out the form is at christopherreeve.org/ask. There is an 800 number, which is 800-539-7309. If you have a question, you can pick up the phone and call. Our goal is to transfer callers to an information specialist. With COVID, our staff is still not all in the office. So if you have to leave a voice message, please leave one with your name, phone number, and best way to reach you, and best time to reach you and time zone. And then somebody will call you back. And then again, you can always send an email to infospecialist@christopherreeve.org. Next, please. So I've talked about the free materials, and they're plentiful. We have over 200 pieces of materials. The Paralysis Resource Guide, which is at the top on the first slide, on the left-hand side, again, covers different types of paralysis, secondary conditions, research, and then moving forward with your life, applying to Social Security. Got a whole chapter in there for veterans. We've got a section in there for parents and caregivers of children, young children under the age of 16. So that's the first. And the second is that we have a book that's called Don't Call It a Miracle, that was written by a member of the paralysis community, as she and her husband traveled the journey of trying to find out about research. Her husband is the individual with spinal cord injury, and Kate Willett happens to be an author, and they decided to take their journey and their quest for information and research and put it into a book, because they went through the ups and downs of, what's good research, what is not good research, understanding the basics of paralysis, and just a lot about the emotional up and down, because the media will say this cutting edge therapy or this new therapy, but it's still many years down the road. and it piques hope and then drops people. And so they talk about that and how it affected their lives and how they became good consumers of what is reliable research, or and how they could identify their goals. We also have wallet cards. In our wallet cards, there are 3 of them. They are primarily specific to spinal cord injury, but 2 of them are could apply to anybody. We have autonomic dysreflexia, which can be a life-threatening secondary condition where the body doesn't recognize brain pain, but the brain does get the message that pain is there. And blood pressure can go up dramatically, and left untreated, it can on occasion result in stroke or be fatal, but it's also very manageable. So we did this wallet card to make sure that people knew it, understood it, and then they could use these cards also to inform their doctors or first responders. Next was a sepsis card. We found that there's an epidemic of individuals with paralysis and with disabilities, actually a national and worldwide epidemic of sepsis that, if not recognized, and can result in very rapid death. We did this wallet card because in 1 month I had 4 people that I knew pass away from sepsis, and we worked with some other organizations and felt great about it. Sad part was my family lives on the West Coast and I'm on the East Coast. My father fell and broke his hip, and he died of sepsis within 4 hours, and nobody knew it. Here's this wonderful card I had created, but my parents didn't know the signs or the symptoms. And by the time it was detected, it was too late. And then the last thing that we cover is deep vein thrombosis. Anybody that has paralysis or disability that has minimal mobility, or actually anybody who flies in a plane for more than 4 hours or long car rides, becomes at risk for DVTs. So we did a wallet card on that, and we focused on how people with paralysis may not feel it, but so we talked about the visual signs and symptoms that a caregiver may be able to identify. The reason we did these 3 wallet cards is that where they can have an incredibly negative outcome, they can also have a very positive outcome if an individual is aware of them, knows what to look for, and is educated. And so with this quick trifold wallet cards, all the patient's baseline information is on the back side. On the inside right hand is a panel that can be folded to the front to give a physician or first responder information of what they should be doing for somebody with paralysis. And, pleasantly, it has saved many people's lives. And again, it's empowering the patient and the family through education. It demystifies these 3 secondary conditions, and it enables them to take control and then educate others. The last is we have fact sheets, and we have over 200 fact sheets. As you can see from the slide, we have one on brain injury. This is a question and answer formatted fact sheet. We have other fact sheets that are not in question and answer, but they primarily give resources and other websites that are reliable, organizations that can be turned to. And we have a state resource fact sheet for every state. I chose Alabama in honor of my co-presenter, and we have these fact sheets for all 50 states, all the territories, as well as some international ones, and we break them down into categories. And so there's a wealth of information. Some of the state fact sheets are as long as 31 pages, and that is something that goes out to anybody that we speak to, particularly if they're looking for resources. Next. Here's 3 of our booklets that you can see and get a sense. The first one is Restoring Hope, Preparing for Rehabilitation After Spinal Cord Injury. This is truly a cross-disability book. It tells a family from the moment they get the call that they have a family member in an acute trauma center to the day they're discharged and moving over to rehab, the process, the steps, the individuals they'll meet. So it's a 52-page booklet that we did in collaboration with Shepherd Center, and it provides a wealth of information, and it helps people understand why they may not be accepted to some rehab centers if they don't meet the criteria, and why they don't meet the criteria. And it also helps them determine what questions they may be asked to be prepared with their answers, and to make choices. And the second is Preparing to Transition Home. We've got a timeline in the back of the book, at which point you should start preparing for certain things. So the big one is home modification. If I have to modify my home, at what point do you start it? Really, it's probably within a week of arriving at a rehab center, because modifying, depending on the modification needs you have, may take quite a while. This booklet was done in conjunction with Craig Rehab Center out of Colorado. It does cover, all the different levels of paralysis, and what patient education somebody needs to have and to have mastered before they go home, so that they can be successful in the community, find local resources by using the state resource fact sheet, and making sure they have everything in place. This last one is employment for people with disabilities. The current administration has a tremendous focus on employment with disabilities, because so many people with disabilities are underemployed or not employed, because of the constraints of needing personal care attendance or healthcare that is very costly. But we've interviewed a bunch of individuals who have successfully been employed and discussed how they got there. And there is a section in there is on volunteerism as well, because if for financial reasons you can't work, there is always volunteerism, and that's a way to remove you from focusing only on yourself and give back to others. And that can make your days go much better and your outlook be much better as well. Next, please. Something that's very common in acquired brain injury is managing spasticity. Spasticity crosses over to many of the varying types of paralysis. And we found it important to focus on it and do it because spasticity can often trigger pain, and pain can trigger spasticity. So again, here you'll see the pain management booklet, because I believe it also applies to acquired brain injury. And lastly, sexual health, reproduction health after paralysis. That's really what's in this booklet. Applies very much so to any disability. And it's one of the, you've got a young individual in their teens or early 20s, and they wonder, well, will I ever get married? Will I have anybody fall in love with me? And will I have children? And so this gives a really nice presentation of it. So those are just some samples, because I'm trying to make sure that if you're sitting here going, how does the Reeve Foundation fit into head injury or acquired brain injury? These are some of the ways and just a few of the resources that I picked to show. And again, can't say this enough, they're all free. All you have to do is call, ask, and they're also downloadable on the website. Next, please. So we have a military and veterans program, and the military and veterans program extends to spinal cord injury, those with paralysis, community resources and connections for servicemen and women, as well as veterans living with paralysis. We do not restrict it to combat related or service related, and we accept any individual, no matter what error. We also, unlike many organizations, if somebody had a less than honorable discharge, we still help them. And we've been able to successfully help somebody get a less than honorable discharge reversed. And then they could receive Veterans Administration services. Next, please. So the first thing somebody's going to get is a new injury packet. May contain some of the booklets that you saw, or booklets specific to what the individual is looking for. We give them information on how to choose rehabilitation centers using the CARF list. CARF is the Commission on Accreditation of Rehabilitation Facilities. We help them sort out what their next steps are going to be. And where necessary, we work with them for funding and insurance. Next. This is one of slides of our website, and it's resources for caregivers. So we have multiple resources for caregivers. We have a bunch of information for caregivers. We have resources specific to the caregiver so that they can manage their own health and well-being. We have caregiving tip sheets. We actually have a video done by Dana Reeve on our YouTube channel about what it was like for her being a caregiver and how she went out for the very first time and left Christopher at home alone, and how that improved her own well-being. And then we have Nurse Linda, who does a webcast once a month. It is the last Wednesday of every month for an hour. And she does have topics that appear in her blog that are on a weekly basis. And then she will answer questions outside of the presentation, whatever her formal presentation is. And as it says, you can find many pieces of information on our YouTube channel. Next, please. We offer a peer and family support program. We match individuals with local and national resources. And this program is also available to their family members and their caregivers. So if a father is injured, and his spouse caregiver is having a hard time, as are his younger children, we work to match everybody within that family if they want it with a peer support program. And they each would have a one-on-one support. Next. So I'm not quite sure how this became highlighted. We have other programs. Again, briefly, we have the research, which I talked on earlier. We have the quality of life grants. And then we have our advocacy and education program. And this is where we work on policy. We work in collaboration with a number of other nonprofits. And so where topics like complex medical rehab for wheelchairs, making sure that they're funded appropriately. We're part of a coalition that worked on that very actively. So those are the kind of advocacy things. And we also work to educate consumers on Medicare, Medicaid, the changes that are being proposed or coming up that may affect what they can and cannot have access to. Next, please. So Christopher said, so many of our dreams at first seem impossible, and then they seem improbable, and then we summon the will, and they soon become inevitable. Last, I think it's last. The next, please. I'm going to save questions because I believe Maria is going to do questions at the very end for everybody. And so to the next slide, please. I've put together my contact information, and I've provided direct links to the Paralysis Resource Guide to where you can find all of the fact sheets, the wallet cards, and the patient information, and everything that can be downloaded. So I hope this is helpful, and I please encourage everybody who has any questions to reach out, and we're happy to be here and assist your community. Thank you.
Bernadette, thank you. That was great information. And we're just going to switch over to Yuying's slides.
All right, let me share my screen. All right. Did you see it?
Yes, looks great.
Oh, somehow this is not the first. Let me see. Okay, let me do it again. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Bernadette, too, for this great information and great resources they put together. Thank you so much. Let's change the gear a little bit. I'm Yuying Chen, as Maria introduced earlier. I'm coming to you from my office, at the University of Alabama at Birmingham, in Birmingham, Alabama. So I appreciate, having about 15 minutes with you to tell you who we are, Spinal Cord Injury Model System, who we are, where we are, what we have been doing, and we also have resources, and hopefully you find them useful for your clients, for your work. Also, maybe it's opportunity we can find way to collaborate, right, at a state level or even at a national level. So what is Spinal Cord Injury Model System? It's designated by NIDLR, National Institute on Disability Independent Living and Rehab Research. We are a network of rehab facilities throughout the United States that provide continuous, comprehensive, and multidisciplinary care for persons with spinal cord injury. It's a traumatic spinal cord injury at this moment. So this is a program started in 1970. For most of you probably familiar with TBI, Traumatic Brain Injury Model System. It's also designated by NIDLR, started in 1987. NIDLR also designated the burn model systems. They are much smaller group. They started in 1994. For each of the three model systems, they have their own data and statistical center. For SCI model system, the data and statistical center is located at UAB, and where I'm the project director for the data and statistical center. And TBI has a data and statistical center as well. It's located in Quake Hospital in Colorado. And data and statistical center for burn model system is located in University of Washington in Seattle. So across three the model system, we all supported by Model System Knowledge Translation Center, MSKTC, for dissemination or provide resources to the SCI community. So a little bit history, model system, SCI model system started in 1970. The first center is located in Phoenix, Arizona. In 2 years, it grows to 7 SCI model system in 1972 in California, Arizona, Texas, Alabama, Illinois, Virginia, and New York. So probably most of people know about model system, a program through the database, right? So the database, over the last 50 years, we had 29 model system centers from 21 states and District of Columbia contribute data to the database. So, as November 2021, we had more than 50,000 people enrolled in the database. We also follow them up So right now, as November 2021, we have close to 128,000 follow-up record on these individuals. The longest follow-up at that point was 45 years post-injury. And these are data was managed by the Data and Statistical Center, National SCI Statistical Center at UAB. So we are just into the new 5-year funding cycle, 2021 to 2026. NIDA originally awarded 14 model assistance centers through the countries, but we are fortunate to have the funding increase. So NIDA is going to sponsor another 4 new centers beginning in September 2022. I don't have that information yet, but stay tuned. Hopefully we'll find out very soon. So the slide, this slide and the next slide just listed the 14th center was originally awarded. So I put 2021 to 2022. And I also mapped out with the TBI Model Assistance Center and the Burn Model Assistance Center. So their cycle is a little bit 1 year later than us. So right now they are in 2017 to 2022 5-year funding cycle. So let's take a look where we are, in currently. So in California, we had 2 model assistance centers. They are in Santa Clara Valley Medical Center, also Rancho Los Domingo National Rehab Centers. So Santa Clara is also a TBI Model Assistance Center, but they only do the phone to follow-up data collection. They are not enrolling new TBI patients. Colorado, we have Craig Hospital, also a TBI Model Assistance Center. In DC, we have MedStar National Rehab Hospital, Florida, University of Miami, Georgia, Shepherd Center, Illinois, Shirley Ryan Ability Lab, formerly known as IC Rehabilitation Institute of Chicago. Another 7th center is Minnesota, in University of Minnesota. In Minnesota, we have Mayo Clinic is designated as TBI Model Assistance Center. New Jersey, Kessler Foundation, also TBI Model Assistance Center. I know in New Jersey, they also have another TBI Model Assistance Center is JFK Johnson Rehab Institute. In New York, it's a Mount Sinai, SCI Center. Also, we have NYU's TBI Model Assistance Center. In Ohio, SCI Model Assistance Center is located in Case Western Reserve University. Ohio has a TBI Model Assistance Center too. It's located in OSU. Pennsylvania, University of Pittsburgh, also a TBI Phone 2 Center. In Texas, in Dallas, the Baylor Scott and White Institute for Rehab. They are also a TBI center. In Dallas, the UT Southwestern is the Burn Model Assistance Center. In Virginia, Richmond, we have Virginia Commonwealth University as a SCI Model Assistance Center, also TBI Model Assistance Centers. So these are the 14 SCI Model Assistance Center awarded currently. In addition to 14 Model Assistance Center, we also have Phone 2 centers. These are the center contracted by the Data and Statistical Center to do the follow-up data collection. So there's a 5 currently. It's our UAB Model Assistance Center. It's doing Phone 2 follow-up for SCI Model System, but also a TBI Model Assistance Center. We also have Missouri, University of Missouri. We also have in Phone 2 Center in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania, it's Thomas Jefferson University. In that area, we have Moss Rehab, is a fully funded TBI Model Assistance Center. Virginia and UVA and Woodrow Wilson Rehab is a very old SCI Model Assistance Center. And we do the central data collection for their formerly enrolled participants. Washington, Seattle, University of Washington doing Phone 2 data collection for the SCI model system. They are also fully funded TBI model system center and BIRD model system center. So these are, who we are, where we are. So I'll tell you a little bit about the database, since I think that's the most of people know about us. We started, the model system program started in 1970. But the database started, officially in 1975. At that time, the care of person with spinal cord injury is very fragmented. So they propose a comprehensive care. What's the model system of care for people or patient with spinal cord injury? So they decided we should collect the data to demonstrate the beauty, the benefit of this care system. So that's how the database started. It's really originally just for demonstration. But now the concept of care, model system care, is well accepted, worldwide. We still exist, and our purpose now is focused on research and knowledge translation. So one is following the trends over time, right? So we can use that information for prevention purpose, for projecting healthcare needs. We also follow our participant in the database. So it's a great opportunity to understand the longitudinal course, after SCI, how physical, psychosocial well-being, life expectancy, costs. These definitely will help to improve our care and services, and also set the rehab standards. And also the structure, the infrastructure, already proved to be a great opportunity for collaboration, at the national level. So a little bit about the structure. You already heard me talk about Form 1 and Form 2. So it's really a spectrum, longitudinal course after traumatic spinal cord injury. So Form 1 data we collected during the initial hospital care. Form 2, we contact them over time to know how they are doing. And so get a comprehensive view of the course of spinal cord injury. So based on the database, we produce the facts and figures at a glance on an annual basis. It's just a one-page front and back, quick information about spinal cord injury, but very current statistic. We also focus on the trends in cause of spinal cord injury over time. We update this fact sheet every year. We also have more comprehensive annual report, for each information we collected. We have table to show how common is this issue. And it's a depression, very common, how common for that purposes. We have public version posted on the website. We also have some tool on the website. We have frequently asked questions. Right now for the quick search tool, we have 2 tools based on the database, the real data. Tell us what's the leading cause of spinal cord injury. You could have a more detail, like 31 different cause of football injury, or it's a diving injury, or you just want to be a 5 category. It's a motor vehicle, it's a violence, or it's a fall. You have choices on that. You want to know in the past or more current figure. If you want to know spatial, racial group, or the sex group, you can do that, and they will give you a list of the leading cause of spinal cord injury. We also have life expectancy calculator for traumatic spinal cord injury, because these are frequently asked questions. We decided just based on the database to create a tool, not just for a person with spinal cord injury and their family member, even professional, right? Doctor may being asked for this question. So you just answer about 10 questions here. What's the age? What's the date of injury? Your gender, your race, education, because that impact your life expectancy based on our data. Your insurance, do you use ventilator, your level of injury, and then you can do the calculation about your life expectancy at this point from today, and also compare with the general population number. And also, we recently made the data available for everyone to take a look. So it's, we go by cycle by cycle. So recently available one will be all the data we collected before October 1st, 2016. We put it on the website. You just answer a few questions, tell us who you are, then you can download the data. So these are just a little bit statistics. We make it live in December 2018. By early this year, we already had 220 requests. And I also keep TBI and Burn also make the data available at about the same time, and you can compare the number of requests across 3 model systems. And based on what they tell us, why they want to download the data for what, we kind of grew into research, a lot of fantastic research idea for education, teaching spinal cord injury, or student writing a report. And also we got commercial company to try to get the data too, because they try to marketing a new drug or develop a new drug and see what kind of market they have. So that's very exciting. Not only in the United States, we also have people download data from other countries, about 14% of that request coming outside of the United States. So this is our website. I'm sorry to tell you that, as I mentioned earlier, we're moving to the new cycle. So the website still in the transition. We want to take care of the database first for our model sensor can enter the data. So the public page is a little bit, not quite ready yet. But if you need any information, you can always email us. We can send you manually. A little bit about beyond database, right? Model System Center also do site-specific research project and also collaborate with other model system do module projects. And we produce a lot of peer-reviewed journal article, writing book chapter, do presentation to serve our scientific committee, society. We produce a whole entire journal issue dedicated to model system research. We also been called to serve as, estimate life expectancy for cold cases. It's about 25 cold cases a year. For the community, we mainly collaborate with MSKDC to develop material. They got a lot of information on the website, and they also had TBI information as well, burn injury. I think most of you probably already aware of their fantastic work. So these are the topics, available about SCI on the website. Could be a fact sheet, a slideshow, hot topic, quick review, or even video. So that's all I have today. Definitely, we greatly appreciate NIDER's, more than 50 years supporting this program, so we can produce these resources for the SCI community. Thank you.
Thank you. Great information as well. I really appreciate you sharing that. I know you had a lot there that you wanted to cover, and we've had some questions roll in, which is great for each of you. So if I could, this first question is for Bernadette. Bernadette, you had mentioned the annual summit in one of your slides. When is that? And if somebody wanted to participate, how would they go about doing that?
The annual summit this year will be in Washington, D.C. The website for the invite and for the attendance is coming up soon. You complete an application form. There is a fee. The summit will be held in a building not attached to the hotel. So it gives you options of hotels as what fits your price category, and there may be some other hotels available. In years past, there have been scholarships. Take a look. It should be coming up by the end of this week. We just switched vendors, and much like UAB, we're trying to get it up and get it up quickly. and we're finalizing the speakers. So
Great, thank you.
you're welcome.
Ying, do the SCI model systems come together annually? I know the TBI model system.
Yes, twice a year. Yes, similar structure as TBI. Yeah, we usually, very similar schedule to June and December. We come to Washington, D.C., so the Nider folks can join us too.
Great. A question for you, Ying, was related to the SCI data. Is there any SCI data with co-occurring TBI data or any current studies kind of taking a look at?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, yes, we always want to do that. So we introduce, I think it's about 3 sets, a quick question, try to figure out if the SCI participant patient also had TBI. We did that for 5 years, but we dropped those instruments because we have some concern about the validity of the instrument. So, and then we haven't really have another new variable to capture that at this point. But those old data, all 5 years data is available, for access.
Great, and anybody can access that data, right?
Yes, not that TBI yet because that's a retired variable. They are historical, but they can contact us. We can add to that to the data set we already put on the website.
Gotcha. Thank you. I think this might be a question for both of you. Do you have any information on TBI and chronic headaches or chronic pain? Are there, any resources available for either of those?
Well, I can speak quickly. I know TBI model system had research in that area. I am not 100% sure, but I kind of think they should have that information at MSKTC website about headache. They also have ongoing multi-center research on the pain too, including headache in TBI.
Great.
The Reeve Foundation has a booklet on pain, but it's more generic since there are approximately 4 different types of pain categories that individuals with spinal cord injury or paralysis have. But there is nothing specific to headache pain.
Perhaps a future project.
Indeed.
And I know that there was a question put in the Q&A that I thought, I don't know if everyone can see that, but I thought might be of some use to share. One of the participants had asked about whether or not there was an increase in opioid use disorder among people living with SCI. And Bernadette, you had answered that, with alcohol use being much more prevalent, I guess, along with maybe some other prescription med modalities as well. So I just wanted to mention that.
And we identify in our pain booklet, what the primary recommendations are for pain medication or what's the most commonly used and it's opioid pain. Opioid medications are not particularly effective on central nervous system paralysis related pain issues. And if you use a wheelchair all the time, then you also have neuromuscular pain, which is more, something like Motrin that you would take anti-inflammatory. So there's a variety and that different options that people use. So it's, I've seen some studies, we haven't done them, but we've seen some studies where the opioid use is not as high in the spinal cord injury or paralysis community as people anticipate or expect. But all along, and I've been doing this for 20 years, alcohol is easy to get a hold of, and it is a way of self-medicating for people with disabilities and without disabilities. And so I still continue to see that and taking calls to be the primary drug of choice.
So I know SCI been working on an opioid fact sheet. I'm not sure it's published yet. It probably very soon, close to finish. And also we look at our database, look at during the COVID pandemic and before COVID pandemic, we did see the substance use increase. Definitely the opioid is one of them.
Definitely. We've certainly seen that on the TBI side. That's good to know that there's a fact sheet coming. Great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Lots of information. I appreciate your time and all of the wealth of resources that you guys have shared. We hope that you have all enjoyed today's event and our annual series. Please feel free to join some of our other training events, our participate in products, our podcasts, and our leading practices academies. And we thank you for viewing our webinar today. Contact us if you'd like to receive notice of future events and other resources. All of our archived webinars are available online. And last but not least, don't forget to complete your evaluations at the end of this webinar. Have a great day and thank you.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, for attending.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.